Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Fresmelin, and today we're back doing some Hades. So, it has been a while. Good love when a game tabs you out there.
I think I'll try this one.
It has really been a while since we've played some. We're going to do the railgun today. And heat level 3 it is. Let's begin our escape.
What happens?
I forgot to change my keepsake.
All of this realm are born of darkness, boy. It's part of everything you'll ever see. The mortals on the surface, they all fear it, foolish as they are, unable to even see its power.
Thank you for letting me know.
Fear is for the weak.
So, let's see what we can do.
You give those musty shades and corpses a fair fighting chance down there, you hear me, Zag? Oh, just in case you need a hand.
Well, I appreciate it. Guess I'll just take the dash.
To my health.
Because that's kind of like the only one I can take that. I would like to on my attack if I had it, but I guess I'm not going to get it.
Load it up.
Yeah, it's been a while since we played some normal Hades, to be honest. And it's not like I haven't been avoiding it, it's just like other games have kind of taken up that spot that I was playing originally. And the particular game was, or still is, called Lamb. Like, I've been playing it so much, I've actually started playing it outside of the whole recording. So, yeah, that's been happening. Which, yeah, I apologise. I probably should have just played it while I was recording it, but... The save file is still the same. It's on my other save file that I've done it, but... I kind of just wanted to test things out, try interesting things, and essentially learn stuff that I need to make sure that I don't do by accident, because apparently this game you can do stupid things by locking yourself out of quests in the wrong orders. And we get to have fun doing those when I record them properly. Between that and I felt like I needed to get like better at the games I was playing, because I was like taking way too much stupid damage in like particular areas, and you know. Let's alter this.
How about another?
Yeah, I'll take the HP. But yeah. Again, I'm probably feeling the after effects of me being away now. I'm starting to feel a bit run down even though I'm back at work, which is the usual... the lovely usual way things go, isn't it? But nah, it's nice to be back at work, feel productive again, usual stuff. Although I do have some time off again booked for next month, which is going away with the family, which is going to be nice, for like the weekend. As a birthday present to Mum. We're all going to be gathered together, which would be nice to spend as a family and just chill out like that. So I've kind of like booked that weekend, the days around it, plus then the week after off, because it's like, to be honest, I'm going to come back and I'm just going to want to relax. I always chuckle about it because I know what I'm like, just on like general socializing and stuff anyway, and I will tend to need to recharge my batteries as such, even like from, you know, socializing with friends and family. I've noticed I haven't actually been using the weapon I picked up all the way through this.
Ahoy!
Hey, sir. Sisyphus, you mind my asking what you did to warrant this particular arrangement you've got here? Pushing a boulder till the end of time and all. Never heard it in your own words.
Well, it's a bit of a long story, Prince. My time had come. though I just wasn't ready, you might say. Your father thought he had me in his clutches, but then, shoom, I gave him the slip. Your father's henchman, Thanatos, he'll back me up on that.
Outsmarted Thanatos, that's amazing. What happened then?
Turns out your father doesn't like us mortals cheating death. Eventually they found me, so now I'm stuck here with my boulder friend. I push old Baldy up the hill to the beat of the Fury's whips, then he tumbles down, and then we go again.
So then you're stuck forever. No reprieve. That's terrible. Wish there was something I could do to help.
You save those sympathies for someone else, Your Highness. I could be Prometheus, spending an eternity having my liver gobbled up. But instead, I get to stay in shape and have these chats with you. Now, I'd better get back to it.
Yeah, good point.
Mine. Baldy, how do you handle being trapped in Tartarus for all eternity, doomed to be pushed up and down a hill repeatedly for no good reason?
Yes, I know, Baldy. You deserve one of these.
Company. That's that.
Oh, but this is just too much for me, Your Highness. Thank you, really. I don't know how I can ever repay you.
How about you keep on helping me not die as quickly as I might have otherwise? Deal?
But yeah. Don't know what it is, but me and socializing are not the best of friends, even at the best of times. Which is fine. Like, I don't need to force myself to socialize, but introverts are introverts, right? I always do laugh though, because like when I do socialize, it's like I put my customer service face on, and I blame working in customer service for that. You know. I mean, we all do it, don't we? Like, to a certain point. It's like,
Goddess Athena.
I always find it difficult to explain to people.
Did Dionysus truly visit you before? He tends to seek out revelry, not conflict. I'm pleased to know he's making himself useful here.
That he is. That he is. Special deflecting, but it does more damage, so I'll pick that up. Because if I do get Dionysus again, that'd be nice to actually have the
Allow me, boy, to introduce some of my loyal
the extra attack.
subjects.
Would have been nice if I'd had the cast, though, you know?
Come on then.
But yeah, I feel like I always end up having to, like, you know, recharge my social batteries when you feel like you're essentially outside your comfort zone. And this could be something as simple as, like, you know, the job you do or stuff like that, when stuff feels like work and effort.
Almost there.
Like, it doesn't have to be stuff that you kind of, you know, is difficult, stuff you don't enjoy. It's just stuff that you end up putting the extra effort in.
That's all the time we have.
Even a small amount of it can basically just cause you to feel more drained than normal. We'll take that because I would like to have some health spawn. So yeah, it's something that I say it quite a lot, that, you know, you got to put yourself first and all that, but it's never as easy as what you want it to be. So I feel like I end up doing all those silly things just to turn around and actually get that time back, essentially. I always say to a bunch of friends, like, because, like, you know, when I am out and about, I am quite sociable, like, get along with people, and people tend to have, like, a really good opinion of me, and then I sit there and go, like, really? And then people turn and say, well, Jamie, you don't come off as like an introvert when you are out and about. Like, I know you are one because, you know, I know you long enough, but...
Let me see.
It is kind of interesting. Do I shop? I guess I go shop hidden eye just in case. Because I can't, I've got the food. Yeah. Oh, I didn't need to.
Thank you, mate.
Take the healing. Well, I'd take that, but there's no point. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Because people will turn around and say, like, oh yeah, you know, I know you're an introvert, but, like, I don't really understand why, you know, if people didn't know what you were like outside of everything else, like, what technically classes you as an introvert, you know, because otherwise I class you as an extrovert, because you still socialise, you still go out, you still do stuff, you'll organise things, and you'll talk to people, you'll make conversations, you're more outgoing than most. And I turned around and basically said, the way I know I am one is because when someone cancels plans on me, I'm not upset they've cancelled plans, I'm excited that I'll have time to myself. Like,
Idiot.
does that mean yeah, that means you are also an introvert. I am sorry to say, but if that's ever happened to you and you're not upset they cancel plans, you are more excited that you'll get some time to yourself to do whatever you else want. Yeah, you are also an introvert. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Oh, I'd love to pick that up, but I guess we're getting the...
We can switch to a different boon.
dash damage. Yeah, we'll pick that up, why not?
Dionysus won't mind, will he?
Let us move on.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it's kind of funny when you say it like that, to be honest. Because, like, I tend to laugh about it, because, you know, to me it's just funny. Because, like, you know, I can differentiate the difference between, like, you know, essentially me coming off as what some people would class as rude to me just kind of just being myself and, like, enjoying that sort of personal space. But you have to be kind of very careful about it, because, you know, people will get upset very easily if they don't understand you or where you're coming from. And they always make the joke, even at work. And I might have said this before, that it's hilarious that we all tend to have the same comment of, like, yeah, you've got to be careful what you say in the office, because, you know, not everyone understands our sense of humour. And I'm like, well, yeah, but, you know, that's just what we're all like, right, isn't it? At this point, it's kind of like too late for us to all change in the office, and it just means that anyone that ends up coming near us kind of has to adapt to that. It's a pleasant office. It's, yeah. It's just understanding that people tend to think differently from you. You know, and as most things are, you've kind of got to grow on people more than anything else as well, right? I'll keep those for now. And we'll continue on. Let us move.
I'll just go on up.
It is something that I always find is
Change of scenery, at least.
you tend to find that, like, I don't know, some friendships and stuff tend to take time, right? I've always been a believer that kind of, like, you know, friendships will last if they will last, you know, but other ones won't if they don't. But the problem is, like, when you get to that point, it may take a fair amount of time and effort to kind of get to that point, you know? And other times it'll be just like it's completely natural. Like, I've got a few friends that, you know, I've known for years that I probably will never ever not be mates with them, no matter how bad or stupid decision making they ever make in their entire lives, which they already have done, you know. Because at the end of the day, they might be idiots, but they're still my mate.
Are you close with Orpheus down there? You get the chance, you tell him I said hey. He's pretty decent with that lyre of his last time I checked.
Attacking faster. No, I'll take the gold generation, because that'd be quite nice. And then I've got people that I've kind of known for ages, but I probably only say that we've really been, like, friends, like, fairly recently. Like, it's not something that's been, like, that we've always got along or stuff like that. To be honest, at some point, and some people that I've known, I probably hate their guts more than being friends with them. Which sounds terrible when you think about it. Like, yeah, I used to hang out with this person, but I despise them. But it was just the way it was at the time. We didn't really click, and I think this comes with age as well, when you tend to find, like, it was a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people sometimes that go through things like divorce or stuff like that, where you kind of say to people that you kind of met each other at the right time and also the wrong time. Like, you knew them at the right time to get along with them and kind of, like, have that relationship. Yeah, I'll just hit the attack there. But also it was the wrong time because you kind of hadn't developed as a person yet. So you hadn't grown out of particular things, you weren't your own individual person.
Death has come. This one is off the record, Zagreus. Come on. I'll handle this.
And I think that's a big deal breaker for a lot of people to come to realise, you know, is the fact that in some cases there are that case of like have you developed enough to say the fact that you're a stable enough person to survive, like, on your own? And in some cases, like, the person you end up spending your time with will help you become that person, but then at the end of it you're not the person that they want to be with, or you're not the person anymore that needs to be with them, kind of thing. Which sounds very horrible to say it that way, but it is where the kind of most cases are, and it's sad to think it like that because, you know, relationships are so played up in our society these days. Like, everyone has to be in one, most cases are. Nowadays you kind of have to have a partner to even support a whole household of just two people, you know.
I'll write this one off. Strength.
Yeah, we'll increase that.
Got some zest.
You never saw me.
Thank you. Early shop is not really that great because I've got nothing to buy yet. But it does happen a lot, you know.
The witch's circle. Good.
Not necessarily like it's a bad thing, it's just I think sometimes good people get put in those situations and then they don't really know what to do, and in some cases they end up causing the problem to be worse.
Like stain of pomegranate on you, Zagreus. A hardy fruit resistant to a winter's chill. How fascinating they survive down there.
Yeah, we'll take the cast bonus, why not?
Perks you right up.
So yeah, it's that kind of thing where it's like you end up forming those relationships and those bonds at such a kind of early stage in your own development that by the time that you kind of outgrow them because the fact you have developed more fully as a person, and the fact that they do mean so much to you, but you're not in the same stage you were. Like, you don't want to hurt them, but then you're too scared to go away, and unfortunately, people will tend to make the mistakes by thinking that they should care about the person's feelings and trying to still protect them because of they don't want to hurt them and stuff like that, which then, when everything does come to a head, or you know, when those particular feelings are made aware of on both parties, it does actually hurt them, probably hurts them more than they intended to in the end. At which point then the entirety of that relationship will stuff break down. Like, I've had a few people that's kind of happened with people just knew each other, and some of the girls I know, like, with their boyfriends they had earlier on, or stuff like that.
What do we have?
Basically had this particular issue pop up. I think it happened fairly recently with some of them as well, where like they've been in relationships so long. You know, they generally like appreciate the person a lot, and they really care for them. But it got to a point that they were, I wouldn't say they weren't happy in the relationship, because that sounds like they weren't, you know, really being appreciative. But yeah. Attack faster, gain more bullets, why not?
The rail grows stronger.
It's hard to explain it and like pinning it down, because like myself, I haven't really been through it, but they tried to explain it to me, and I was trying to get a grasp of it, and I was like, I really don't, but you know, your feelings are your feelings, and if you don't feel that like you can express those feelings anymore to that person, is it really fair for you to sit there and either trap yourself and trap them in that sort of position when you could kind of express that difference in feelings now, and basically, you know, allow you both to move on rather than it coming up later, or you know, you do meet that person that you end up having those feelings for, and yeah, it's normally that's what ends up happening. But I don't know. Like, I spoke it through with them, and they seem alright now. But I think for them it was very difficult to wrap their head around, and I think sometimes you just got to realise that, yeah, like, if you meet someone 5, 6, 7 years ago, like, you either grow and develop together, or you kind of grow apart. And there's nothing wrong with either way, like, it's no one's fault, it's just sometimes the way things happen, and I think it's very hard for people to kind of realise that. The main thing is not to be an idiot, and, you know, when someone points it out to you that you know, they notice that maybe you're not fully invested in a relationship or stuff like that, like, really analyse it for yourself. Like, do you really believe what they're saying, or can you like see where they're coming from? Is it more of an issue with you? Is it more of an issue with the other person? Like, what's the cause to make you feel that way, or at least represent that you're feeling that way? And trust me, when someone says they pick up on something, and even though it's not correct, if one person picks up on it, it's enough that other people are. Or at least that's how you're coming across.
Heads down.
Because I know I'm like one of those people. I tend to come across a very particular way, which can be both good or bad.
Could try a different one.
I am never going to deny that I come off as a great person in the world. I have my flaws like everyone else, and I try to work on them, but we all have our vices, right? We are to, to err is to human.
Time to pick a fight.
I've noticed that there's a lot of different changes going on more recently, and people being a lot more understanding of a lot of things, really.
Yes.
Like, I think at the moment, I would say, like, most of, like, modern day culture is going through some culture shifting at the moment, which is why we have such a dissonance between kind of people's expectations to what is actually happening in the world and stuff like that.
Let's see how we can modify
Attacks bound to one additional foe. Yeah.
Armed and ready.
Bouncing around would be nice. Inflicts the poison everywhere.
Hello, mates.
But I think it is very difficult for a lot of people these days, because we've come from a phase where essentially we protected a lot of things, both for good and bad reasons. And like the older generation would use the term snowflake or to describe someone that, essentially wasn't tough enough to handle those particular situations or stuff like that, It's just the whole attitude of, like, if I offend you by talking, you have a right to be offended, but doesn't give you the right to do anything else, So it's kind of like a catch-22, I would always say.
Cheers, I'll take it, man.
Yeah, Dim with actual hangover is flicked above 3. We'll take that.
I understand.
Did what I had to do. Guess she's upset.
I know it's a very hard thing to sit there and for someone to sit there and be offended, but like realize that there's nothing actually they can physically do about it.
Let's come back.
It's a very interesting topic. I always find it fairly interesting. Because I've always believed in the attitude of, like, being honest and telling someone what you think, which, whether it be good or bad, it's kind of the thing. And if you don't voice those opinions or say like that, no one grows as a person. You don't develop as a person because you don't know any different, because no one told you any different, so your crazy ideas that you have in your mind, if they are crazy, don't get corrected because you didn't say anything to anyone. And the other fact is if someone has even crazier ideas and your idea kind of contradicts what they say, they don't learn their ideas are crazy. It's the usual thing, is like you only learn that fire is hot by putting your hand in fire.
Now then, I hope we can move past this little incident and keep our focus on the task at hand.
Maybe. Extra Death Defiance. Nah, we'll just take that. Give me Impervious for a few seconds. It'd be great. Like, I'd say this comes from more like a man's point of view, but like, if my mates are annoyed with me and stuff like that, I would expect them to tell me, and they probably call me many colourful names under the sun. But that's what I kind of expect. Like, I'm not in that point for someone to sit there and like play mind games or anything else as well, because why do I need to tolerate that? Like, if you're annoyed, you just say something, right? And yes, like, some of that's going to hurt my feelings, be offensive, but that's kind of the reason why it has to be said. It's not. It's one of those things where, in some cases, some things are said with the intent to better another person. It's like criticism, right? I can critique someone. I could critique a group of people. I could critique anything in the world, which doesn't make me anything as far as anything else, except, you know, probably maybe being a little bit mean or usual stuff like that. But it's the idea that if what I say has the intent to be offense, like, you know, to be not nice, is the whole intent is to basically make someone upset, then that's not really critique, that's just being mean. I think it was one of the phrases that, you know, like, no one has a right to police what your thoughts are in your own head. Right? You're free to think and do whatever you want, but you should still have your actions still have consequences for what you say, and that goes on both sides. Like, I can't get away with something just because someone else says something mean about me. It isn't a takes one to know one. It isn't an eye for an eye. And I think, like, at some point we've kind of forgotten that, which is very disappointing. Because, like, I wish we kind of could remember stuff like that, you know? The simple lessons that were taught from a young age and stuff like that, whether it be for, like, through different forms of religion to just general mannerisms and cultures and stuff like that, where you're just taught the basic principles of respect. And nowadays, I think, like, you know, we've got to the point where people just don't respect each other anymore. It's always this kind of way to kind of like a coddly way where everything has to be protected. You can't say anything mean to anyone because someone will be offended by it, you know. You have to be nice all the time. Which leads to very, very many confusing scenarios when someone is nice and you think, hang on a minute, why are you being nice? Or you get the passive-aggressive niceness, which, oh my god, is it so terrible. I've used passive aggression before, and it's absolutely brilliant when it's done right, but only to those that necessarily deserve it, you know, like problem customers. You know, we all know the ones we get. They have a name attached to them now, which is even more hilarious than what it was before. You know, the Karens of the world, as they are now known. Which I feel sorry for Karens now. Like, the people Karens, not the stereotype that's now been attached to them. But I swear I remember seeing, like, a funny clip of a Karen complaining about the stereotype of a Karen.
Guess I get a break.
While also being a Karen. Because she was complaining about it. That one made me laugh. It was so, it's like this is just like a joke on so many levels. Don't know whether it was a skit or not. Not too sure. But it made me laugh, it made me chuckle. I think I've seen a few of those like that where it's just kind of hilarious and... Oh, what's this? I forget who did the skit. I remember it's like, a guy serving tacos at a taco truck, and then like a woman gets offended that they, they're not authentic tacos or something like that, and you're like, what that matters is like it's the recipe, right? And and then and she's like, yeah, but you need like an authentic Mexican to make me like, oh my god, this is like so cringe-worthy. But it's like, this is exactly the behavior though that you are getting at this level nowadays, is where someone else is offended by someone else that they're, there's not even anything related to them.
There we go.
I think it's one of those things that we need to remember this day and age. Like, if someone says something offensive, you're allowed to say it and point it out that they said something offensive. But you got to say it in a nice way to say, they might have said it unintentionally, yeah? Or you don't know the full story, or in this day and age, anyone could be anything nowadays, right? That's even more confusing. But it's like, it's kind of like, yeah, mate, be careful on that. Some people might take that the wrong way, kind of thing. Like, not in a bad way, but like, be careful.
I'll tell you now, even Athena here will cut loose for a bit, let down her hair, put on something more comfy. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Perhaps Lord Dionysus here is the true god of strategy, as it appears he is uncannily aware of my next move, cousin. Although be that as it may, I shall attempt to remain focused on your situation, not his feast.
I don't know, that sounds great. Your foes range attack projectiles are slower. We're gonna pick it up anyway.
Teamwork. Here's the fee.
Pick that up, extra damage on that. I might actually lose here, so I am going to just pick those up, because more gems and more gems. And let's continue.
At last. Try as you might, monster, you shall not shake either my own resolve or that of my dear friend.
But yeah, it was, I've had it a few times where, it's one of the things that I always used to say is, being part of any group doesn't give the excuse for you being a tool. Like, whether that's the fact that you have a disability, or, you're part of a minority, or stuff like that. Like, we all have our own struggles, and we all have everything else as well, which, basic manners and politeness is pretty much one of the things that, we all should strive for, regardless of our situations and stuff. And we all know that I've met people that come from privileged positions and maybe don't quite understand people in other situations or stuff like that, and said the wrong thing, but it's the fact that we've got to kind of essentially educate everyone to a point where we're being fair, right? There are some people that don't know, there are other people that may do things wrong unintentionally, and sometimes you may just be being an a-hole. I've done it. I've been in a bad mood, I've been grumpy, I maybe not have had my early cup of coffee in the morning one day. It's not unheard of.
Now for the other one.
I've said things I regret quite easily. I've also said things that, may have come across in very the wrong way most of the time. But it's also the thing where it's like, if I'm not able to make mistakes, then we've got problems in our own society more than we've got problems with me. Because how am I meant to learn from that if I can't make those mistakes?
this round.
I've really gone off at a tangent now, haven't I? You'll have to bear with me. I'm feeling very sleepy, so my mind is fried. Just wanders wherever it pleases. Yeah, let's pick up those coins, why not? Actually, I will sell that. Like, the dash doesn't really do much anymore. Gain that darkness. Let's move on.
One last stop.
But yeah.
The Temple of Styx.
I may be a madman, but I'm my own madman, you know? I own it. I do crazy things all the time. I say stupid things. I know I'm an idiot. I'm allowed to be an idiot.
I'll take this one.
I'm making people move slower. Cool.
The power of the gods.
Extra bonus damage is pretty cool. Extra bonus damage again. And let's go hunting. But yeah, I agree with, you know,
Hello.
sometimes I think we should be a bit more forgiving in, like, what people say and do, but also kind of, like, hold both sides responsible for things. And I do believe that, you know, unless you're part of the thing that someone said that was offensive, you cannot say it's offensive kind of thing. You can tell people that you may think that other people might find that offensive, but that's about it, and you cannot get any more than that. You know. You know, if someone sat there and basically said that they hated all of something, I can't be offended by that if I'm not part of that group. It's not fair for me to do that, because you're just making light of someone else's heritage and everything else. I can say that, you know, I think some people might take offense to that, absolutely fine, and I can point out that particular group, or I cannot point out that particular group that would be offended by that, because it could be related to the topic, or, you know, you may have a dull friend that doesn't quite understand what you're talking about. But I do think,
Or Dionysus.
yeah, we'll pick that up.
Perfect.
Extra life is extra life, even if it does come from here.
Hang
Oh,
back.
I've missed out on some money. Let's hit level up, why not? So you can grab that, and then maybe we'll go for the gold if we need to. Yeah, so I mean, that would definitely stop a lot of the Karens and stuff being like, you know, you can't do that, that's really offensive. And you're like, well, to be honest, you just sound like you're more the R word than anyone else. You seem more judgmental than anyone else I've ever known if you find that what I say is offensive.
What's for sale?
And I mean, we, especially this day and age, like, we have so many mixes and matches of cultures. I don't think anyone has the right to own something as part of a culture. Like, it can be part of your culture, like everything can be, and, you know, there are things now, especially within the UK, where, you know, there are stuff that was a part of one culture that now is a part of my own culture.
Already. Good enough to eat.
It may not be part of it for, you know, being part of it that long, but because of the transitions we have with
Now for a chance.
people emigrating from one country to the next, for, you know, just visiting other places, people pick up on stuff and we adopt things that we think we should adopt. Especially the UK, like, I mean, to be honest, we've pretty much stolen a lot of stuff.
Cerberus again accepts the
Words, phrases, countries. It is true.
Boy.
considering at one point we owned like more than 50% of the world. For both good and bad reasons.
Father.
Ooh, a fishing spot up here. If we can win, that'd be nice.
Be still. These waters, teeming with Poseidon's river denizens. That one there before me, it's been taunting me, I think, for quite some time.
You offering to take me fishing, Father? Sounds more pleasant than having you slaughter me again, or the other way around.
You mistook my meaning. First you shall have my spear, then that thing shall, if it has not yet come to its senses. Though if you vanquish me, I'm certain your uncle shall not mind if you extract it yourself.
Funny. But yeah. It is all about the simplicity of stuff, is it not? Like, I whinge and moan about stuff like all the time, because I'm in, you know, I'm a picky person, and I get frustrated easily, and I don't understand many complex discussions and ideas, because my attention span is too short. Though I like to learn, you know? I do put effort in to learn. But the one thing you never want to do is you never want to be a discussion with me if you don't know your stuff about the thing you're trying to discuss with me. I'm a nightmare. I will pick holes in so many things. Not to be mean, but, you know, to develop an understanding. I used to do it as a kid, it was a nightmare. My mum had to deal with it so much. I felt sorry. I used to like get myself in so much trouble for saying like the wrong thing or asking the wrong questions and being like, my mum would be like, "You can't say that." But then this is kind of the whole thing I'm like talking about, right? Like my mum brought me up in a way of like, you know, telling me what was right and what was wrong, and I feel like in this day and age, some people were not told that by their parents, and now they believe that they can say whatever they want and be whatever they want without any repercussions for their actions. Which is very annoying. Mainly for the people they end up saying, you know? Like that's the sad bit about, like, people that don't want to learn about stuff like that, I find they end up causing more damage to cultures than the people that are actually trying to do damage to the cultures, you know? I would like to say, like, it's the opposite of, like, what appropriation is and stuff like that, you know? Like, amalgamating cultures is something that's going to happen because as humans we interact with each other on a daily basis. The world's gotten smaller with the age of technology, so we are going to learn more and more stuff about other cultures. Like, I know stuff from, you know, parts of culture and life in other countries. I may not know everything, I may know a small part of it, but it's something that I now know, which, hilarious enough, it's now just like it's a part, maybe not like a part of my culture, but it's knowledge that I now have that could be implemented into my culture. The problem is I can't claim ownership of it. That's completely incorrect. It's nothing that, you know, that I own or anything else as well, but it's something I can take lessons from and develop myself as a human being and learn from, and that is kind of what a part of that is, you know? I should be able to take lessons from other cultures and learn these things, and either not make the same mistakes as them or learn to be like them in some ways. Not saying everything is perfect. I mean, trust me, there are many things you would say you shouldn't learn from and other ones you should. It's knowing the good from the bad and being able to distinguish that. The problem is those are the things you should have been taught. You know, being able to distinguish the good and the bad.
I'm afraid not.
Many people do not know that, and still do not know that. But, it's my favourite phrase, the world, is what it is.
As you wish.
Go back.
I was hoping I would get away with not having to use the Death Defiance, but oh well.
I failed you again. How? I must go.
Yeah, he's down.
Yes. In the name of Hades.
That we did. We took everything down.
All right,
As fish.
Let's catch some fish.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest one that I always think is a good idea is food. Food is such a big thing with different cultures. Like, massively so, from like what people actually eat, to styles of cooking, to different techniques used in cooking. It's huge.
Despite having transcended past the confines of the underworld yet again, Prince Zagreus proves utterly unable to get past this point.
And I always find it hilarious, the fact that,
Well, that
at
was
one point we were
pretty
always
original.
told, especially when I was younger, that there were only like 4 basic tastes or something silly like that.
Hey, Adusa, let me guess. You're here regarding the procession of these shades who've been standing here for quite some time, clogging the hall a bit. They've barely moved at all.
You guessed it, Mr. Hypno. So, have you, given any thought to maybe focusing the traffic flow through here a little bit to keep the hallway clearer and, oh, I don't know, put some sort of time limit in place?
Can't say I have. I've got my registration list, and I have had to keep a careful eye on it. With all the shades that have been pouring in, it's really gotten slow around here.
It definitely has. I have to go. Hope you get yourself some rest, okay?
You bet.
But yeah, it's is it 4 or 5? Or at least I think they changed one.
Achilles, have you ever run across the Shade of Daedalus in all your time? I found some of his legendary hammers out there, but no sign of him.
I've never met him, no. Your father keeps him fully occupied with building out his underworld and renovating constantly. No wonder some of his old crafting tools are strewn about. I take it you've been able to make use of them?
Indeed I have.
Indeed I have.
Were you able to make it to my cottage on the surface, Zagreus? I hope my lavender patches are doing all right.
I couldn't make it all the way there, Mother. It's like, without your presence on the surface, I'm unable to hang on for very long at all.
Ah, I was afraid of that. Well, don't despair. I placed a charm upon my seedlings there that ought to keep them flourishing well on their own. Your duty now is simply to escape. You keep it up.
I will. Thank you, Mother.
How goes your heated rivalry against the greatest king of Athens lately, boy? Your battles with him and the Minotaur must be the talk of the underworld of late.
Admit it, Father. Theseus was the only hero you were able to recruit to stand against me. All the while he gets to boast about being the champion. Well, was Heracles too busy for the task?
Speak not to me of Heracles. You know these heroes by their deeds, not by their character. Heracles is fortunate he's in my brother's favor. Else he would be in Tartarus where he belongs. The mortal concept of what constitutes a hero is absurd.
True.
I should have asked the expert, I suppose.
The Erebus Gateways. Could be interesting to unlock those, but I think until we get to like 5, it's kind of pointless. Maybe. Think about it.
Orpheus, I heard from Hermes, messenger and god of travel and all that. It's odd I'm giving you his message in this case, but he says hey. Admires your musical ability as well.
Oh, that was kind of him, my friend. When I first ventured deep into this realm, while searching for the soul of my lost muse, after I failed utterly, it was Lord Hermes who whisked her away. It happened so fast. He did an excellent job.
I'm glad you took it so well.
Hold, child. I have a message for you from my daughters themselves, concerning the blade of the underworld in your possession.
Ooh.
Wait, you mean the Fates? And Stygius? I'm honored that they would have taken any notice of me. What is it that they want for me to know?
They wish for me to impart to you these words, so that your blade, in turn, may hear them uttered from your lips. I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone. Repeat them, and remember.
I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone. This must be for one of the weapon's hidden forms. Please tell your daughters I am very grateful, Nyx.
I shall, child. Although I'm certain they already know. Though whether they are aiding you or this is simply what must come to pass, I cannot say.
I'll take my chances it's the former.
Yeah, but it's like, are they helping you or just being...
I'll take it. More keys for me.
Oh, I don't need the keys, do I?
It's a deal. Let's have that nectar. Fair and square.
All the nectar of the world I need. It's mainly the nectar that I think I need to get up so I can actually like do all the relationship stuff.
Why, thank you.
And do I have enough?
Let's see.
Not quite. Almost, though. Almost indeed. So why don't we unlock our new form?
Stygius, I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone. A future aspect. What sort of name is Arthur?
And yeah, we may unlock that at a later date. But yeah. There we go. Some more unlocks. Another win for the run.
Find air your whenever to get me out of here.
You know, always nice to see. But again, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.